Don't stop. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Don't stop. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Either the humanity is so incorrigible, or our world is arranged so. We know a lot of examples when they primarily did their utmost to push away the founders of ingenious ideas, never before seen projects somewhere to the margins of society, as if it was possible to bury an idea this way. However, they recanted afterwards, saying they had underestimated it. This building is almost 150 years old. They used to build soundly at that time, and the building frame assembly has preserved properly. In the old days it belonged to Knyaz Paskevich, then to a stud farm, and finally it was empty for a long time. But new residents have appeared in it recently. It was inhabited by the people who have nothing to do with horses, if only with Pegasus. Under its roof, this building hosted the enthusiasts united by rather an unusual idea. The project of the century. That's how many scientists of the world called it. This is confirmed at least by the fact that here, in this building, preparation of an international scientific and technical conference, EcoWorld 90, is in full swing. Prominent scientists and practitioners from many countries are invited here to discuss the problems that are most crucial for humanity, the problems of the global ecology. The future of our and next generations depends on the successful solution of these very problems. And what about the project of the century? What is its meaning? The Center-star world has been created a year ago. We have two main objectives. This is laying down a program, Environmentally Clean World, we called it EcoWorld, and securing of funding for this program. We are proceeding with these two objectives simultaneously. Firstly, we secure funding through the national economic activity. There are a great number of unresolved issues in the national economy now, from the production of consumer goods to the solution of some scientific and technological problems. Earning some revenue, we provide part of it to EcoWorld program. We have already done a great deal of work. We have completed a number of scientific and technological projects. And we came to a conclusion that this program is fully implementable in the near future. It can really become an alternative to the program of Strategic Defense Initiative. In the near future, we will present our program to the Soviet government. Environmental problems on Earth have appeared because we, mankind, have created a powerful industry. It came to a contradiction with the biosphere. Therefore, environmental problems cannot be resolved on Earth in principle. We can only delay solving them. Sooner or later, the biosphere will degrade. Many species of living organisms will disappear, not excluding the human species either. That's why, so as to save the humanity and to create the possibilities of unlimited development, we need to transfer this Earth's industrial power beyond the biosphere limits. That is, into the outer space. We are now working right on this problem. Rocket technology is incapable to do it in principle. Therefore, we need other ways of transferring power plant engineering and industry into the outer space. It can be done using a general planetary vehicle that we are developing in this building. We are not going to harass the audience with complicated scientific and technical provisions and terms. We will put it briefly. GPV is the General Planetary Vehicle. With its use, we, the Earthlings, are offered brave, unprecedented ideas to develop and implement a non-rocket space exploration, scientifically well-grounded, technically feasible, but very expensive. Even by the most preliminary calculations, it will cost $500 billion for the mankind. It does not mean we should wait with arms folded. Already today, there is an accumulation of funds for starting GPV and ensuring technical conditions needed for transferring environmentally hazardous industries beyond the Earth's limits. These funds are made up with various methods. The Soviet Peace Fund that have made the first contribution, voluntary contributions coming to the account number 000-609-208, and finally, one of the most important directions, a wide national economic activity of enthusiasts. Already today, hundreds of contracts are concluded with industrial enterprises, organizations and building companies for the amount of more than 5 million rubles. The leading role belongs here to the complex of developments carried out in Star World Center by the Scientific Production Association Pribor, headed by Viktor Zhivov. An original manipulator has been created and is now passing production tests in Lenin Collective Farm of Gomel district. It can do many things. It controls the whole milking process, ensures machine milking completion, that is, obtaining the part of milk more saturated with fat, measures the milk yield from every cow and the whole milking herd. And finally, it is possible to milk up to 60-80 cows per hour with its use. The association brings valuable and original technological developments to their practical implementation. This indicator, micro-multimeter, is designed to measure the value and voltage of DC and AC, resistance of DC in an electric circuit. They have already designed and prepared a pilot batch against the order from the Gomel Association Arbita Service. Thus there appeared a device which was awaited with anticipation by both specialists and amateurs of technical creativity. They also proceed with the work aimed at reducing time for implementation of complex developments at the lowest possible cost. Don't be surprised that in this case they did not forget to pay attention to children. Somehow, in our time of rapid technical progress, so little attention is paid to an intelligent technical toy. Such toy is in a very high demand. It was decided to bridge the gap too. In parallel with it, there are most serious developments. For example, an original device Kedr-1 is now undergoing laboratory testing at the Moscow Power Engineering Institute. The members of Pribor Association also participated in its upgrading. This is how an employee of the Institute estimates the device with a set of related units. We are presenting a joint development from the Gomel Star World Center and the Cryogenic Engineering Department of the Moscow Power Engineering Institute. This device is called Kedr-1. It is intended to measure critical parameters of superconductive materials. What is the difference of this device from previous ones? What is the area of applying and using this device? Due to the fact that during the last 2 years, an intensive research on high-temperature superconductivity was underway in our country and throughout the world, the creation of such units is of a great interest for 2 reasons. Firstly, this unit allows to read characteristics of superconductive materials and to save time for it.
и при этом экономить время. Что значит экономить
What
время?
does time saving mean? So as to read such correlations of critical current on magnetic field manually, a qualified experimenter needs several hours. This installation allows to read the correlation within several dozens of minutes. Time saving is obvious. The second reason is the increase of precision and reliability in reproduction of the results. From our point of view, this installation may be useful both in research laboratories of institutes and possibly at production enterprises while making and certify the parameters of superconductive materials.
В институтах, так возможно и на производстве при изготовлении и аттестации параметров сверхпроводящих материалов.
There is also a wide range in the activities of employees at the basic research laboratory atmosphere that is being implemented within the framework of EcoWorld Program 2. It is difficult to overestimate today the importance and relevance of the task on reducing atmospheric emissions, when we are already suffocating with them as a fish on sand. It is no secret, for example, that there are places in Gomel where hazardous emissions exceed the permissible norms by dozens of times. The Gomel plant of casting and normals. The laboratory staff here proceeds with testing filters in which gas-air mixture is purified, coming from the electroplating workshop baths. The efficiency of filters operation is determined in this way. That is the degree of purifying gases that are emitted into the atmosphere. Aerodynamic features are checked at the inlet and output of the filter, samples and the content of hazardous substances are collected. Based on the measurements, they work out and implement the methods to raise the efficiency of purification. Either filters or possibly the whole scheme of purification should be replaced. The whole ventilation of workshops is now controlled by the atmosphere laboratory. They determine the cleanliness of environment at every workplace. One more step in scientific organization is the PHad possibility to create an optimum mode of operation at a workplace by temperature, humidity and air movement. The offered variants are embodied in capital developments of new projects on ventilation, aspiration or gas purification. And everything is done in a close contact with the factory personnel, taking into account its preferences and requirements. The accumulated experience will be also widely used at other enterprises of Gomel and, hopefully, of the Republic and the country. Putting it in a nutshell, this package of developments works for the basic idea of improving the environmental situation.
Пакет разработок работает на основную идею улучшения экологической обстановки.
Propaganda of the things that will occur tomorrow is carried out by Star World Center of the Scientific and Technical Association, Cosmonauty. However, isn't this super task forgotten in the fever of everyday life? But there is such a word, obsession. There is a wonderful notion, purposefulness. Finally, there is a quiet but solid word, belief. Thus, the idea becomes stronger and finds new supporters. Someday, in a remote but foreseeable future, a huge overpass will encircle our Earth, possibly even in Gomel latitude. A vacuum tube will be laid on the overpass. A cargo hoop will be accelerated in it by electric magnets, and people will deliver many millions of cargo into the orbit. And there, in the distant space, people will start to smelt metal, generate electric power, create perfect technologies impossible to obtain on Earth. There will be no need for super costly cargo rockets that destroy the salvational ozone layer of the atmosphere so cruelly. The biosphere on our much suffering Earth will enter again in the lost harmony with the nature. And what does the loss of such harmony lead to? We, Gomel citizens, know it very well without distant examples. This is the native land of the author of the project of the century. Only 4 years ago, a small village in Bragin district went on with a regular and quiet life. Today, it is behind a barbed wire. Today, it is another tragic witness of what the peaceful atom can do, if it is controlled by people indifferent to both the present and the future. Devastation, not for a year or two, but for decades, or possibly for centuries. The invisible death is everywhere. Huts without domestic warmth, without children's laughter, without maternal affection. The fields without young crops, where every particle of dust is contaminated. The sun itself is breathing with death. This is what the violation of harmony with the nature means. And nobody can guarantee that this will not be repeated. Maybe it is quite logical that the man who offered an alternative option originally hails from these places. The man suggests to make the earth without acid rains, dry hot winds and tornadoes once and forever, without fuming furnaces and burning rays, without shoaling rivers slowing down the flow, without a deadly smog, without X-rays at the threshold. Eco-friendly world. The goal to which work-obsessed people dedicated their lives. The goal with a constantly growing number of supporters. Recently, Star World has become one of the reference centers of the All-Union Youth Aerospace Association Soyuz. The center's program was presented in detail at the 4th Congress of Spaceflight's participants. It was described by the idea's ardent supporter, member of the association, USSR pilot-cosmonaut Igor Volk. I read the Star World program in which they proposed a global program. It attracted me because in addition to the technical part, it includes the concern for those people who will create it. Therefore, I liked it primarily, and then, when I made sure that there were also very serious technical developments in this program, I decided to take part in it directly.
Это отношение больше всего мне пришлось по душе. Ну а потом еще, когда я убедился, что серьезные технические разработки этой программы, я уже решил принять, во всяком случае, непосредственное участие. Я думаю, что для того,
I think that if we want to live on until the 21st century, this global program should be launched not only in our state, but in the entire world. Because the said phenomena affect inevitably all people on the planet. Certainly, it should be started with the preparation of people to get engaged with a common undertaking directed at their survival as personalities, as individuals on this planet. Therefore, I will contribute all my knowledge, experience and strength to this program. We decided not to take a single kopeck from the state, doing various associated activities so as primarily to earn funds for performing the preparatory part of the program.
заняться сопутствующей деятельностью, различными формами этой деятельности для того, чтобы, во-первых...
And secondly, to bring benefit to the country, including consumer goods. First of all, we decided how to do it because a serious system is needed so as to earn such funds. We examined what organizations can provide this possibility.
Товары, в том числе народного потребления. Для этого
So we have chosen the Peace Fund because it provided the first contribution, though it was rather risky. This contribution made it possible to set up Star World.
система. Мы посмотрели, на какие организации могут предоставить такую возможность. И вот мы остановились на фонде мира, на этой организации, поскольку она предоставила первый взнос, значит, рисковый, может быть, можно так сказать, взнос, и именно на этот взнос первый и начал существовать центр «Звездный мир». И мы посмотрели, что
We saw that they really have a network of their organizations across the whole country. We asked for a possibility to join that network. We are ready to cooperate with them, earning funds by ourselves, producing consumer goods.
Мы готовы сотрудничать с ними и, естественно, значит, зарабатывая сами деньги, делая товары народного потребления, одновременно и, во-первых...
Firstly, we wanted to settle up the amount they had given us irrevocably. At the same time, we planned to bring to the Peace Fund the money earned by ourselves. I think this type of cooperation is optimal and most realistic for the present day.
Программа.
The program is optimal,
Программа.
the program is realistic.
Лучшую оценку.
It is hard to make a better assessment. It is just because of it, or maybe just for this, the program is optimal and realistic in its second section, in all its quiet mundane affairs, labors and everyday life. Innovativeness is a characteristic feature of the center's enthusiasts. They create the things that are needed for the people right today. This original harvest designed and produced by the center is an alternative to many presently existing samples, but according to the author's ideas, without their drawbacks. A harvester should be more efficient, less heavy and finally less costly. Already the first tests showed that much of it was achieved. It has also been confirmed by the machine operators of Unitsky Collective Farm, Gomel district, where the tests were conducted, and they are the most demanding critics. As regards the quality of harvesting, everything is clear here without any words. At one of the machines in Gomel Timber and Chemical Plant, where wallpaper is produced, a small compact mechanism has been recently installed. A hydraulic drive station. That's how the authors from Pribor Association called it. This station is intended to supply liquid to the operating members for wallpaper embossing. Thus, the designers managed to replace imported equipment that was out of date. The currency has been saved and the resources are also being saved. Such fully mundane developments are produced by the center. And what is the next step and prospect? Our plans for the future. We have worked this year in the system of youth scientific and technical creativity. We have done the first steps. We are very grateful to the system, but we have grown up and of it, out of the framework of the city and region, and now our goals and tasks are closer to the Soviet Peace Fund. Therefore, we have entered the structure of the Soviet Peace Fund in the status of an intersectoral state association, and in the near future we are planning to create a scientific base of our organization in the vicinity of the city of Minsk. Now the Soviet Peace Fund is applying to the government with such a proposal. It is not excluded that soon an academic town will be built in Belarus for our program. Something like the academic town near Novosibirsk. It is because our program is evaluated at about $500 billion. This is a huge amount, and the intellectual potential of the whole country and foreign countries should be involved in this program. On developing this program, we would be able to suggest to the humanity the way to salvation, As many specialists acknowledge, using this program, we would be able to stop the Star Wars program, which is $1 trillion of expenditures from the American side and hundreds of billions of expenditures from the Soviet side. A number of independent enterprises will be created in Gomel based on our structural subdivisions and branch offices, and we will leave this building to one of them, to our Pribor factory. These young men and girls are the students of a special vocational technical college number 152 of electric technology in Gomel. The college is a base for a great deal of the center's technological force. The relationships are becoming closer and closer. Here, engineers and designers are attracted by the youth and its future because most probably these people will have to implement the conceived ideas. The generation that is accumulating knowledge today, young and curious, they have to accomplish the conceived ideas. There is no alternative. However, before that, they have not only to believe, but also to learn how to do it. Let's recall again. The humanity is organized in the following way. The things conceived by one generation are accomplished by the next one. Yet, flipping through history pages, you can make sure not once how people benefit when a great concept is implemented by the same generation in which it was generated.
Родился.
Let this be implemented like that this time too. And what about the ideas? New ones will appear calling to move forward. The humanity cannot do without them. It lives on them. The poet was right when he said, if the sun, making its way, forgets to light up our earth, immediately the whole globe of the earth would light up by the thought of some lunatic. Star World, environmentally friendly world, is not a fantasy, it is a reality.
Skyway по небесной струне, на воздушном метро унесусь в облака, как мечталось давно. Путь дорога Париж, с помощью Божией всю планету Земля обнимает Skyway.